So, does removing religion guarantee peace? My answer is no, right? And let me explain it. Let's take, let's not get to our opinions, right? Let's take data itself, because uh, data makes sure that your opinion is credible, right? The reason is like it's giving a statement like sun always rises in the east, and one guy might say like, yeah, sun rises in the east, but I've seen sun rising in the west. But it's not credible because there is no data where sun rising in the west exists. In the same way, does removing religion from the society make sure it is peaceful? My answer is definitely no. And also the vice versa. Is having religion a good thing at all? Uh, let's take examples. Let's say you remove religion completely. Are there any countries where religion doesn't exist, or you know, in a negligible way? And the classic example is, all the most communist countries. Uh, they they openly say that they are atheistic and they don't follow any religion, like China or North Korea. Like these countries, they do not. They openly say they don't want any god. And there are even some examples where when they were forming these communist countries, they might have directly destroyed some religious institutions, like destroying them. But do you think China is peaceful? Do you think North Korea is peaceful, or even Russia itself? Russia is, communism did, the birthplace of communism did come from Russia, right? Like the Lenin, Karl Marx. These all guys, they were pro-communist. They are the communist fathers, and I don't think we need to discuss about Russia being peaceful, right? It's a pretty war-torn, not war-torn region, but it's always in war, right? Like Russia-Ukraine war, it's active right now. At the time of this recording, it's still not over. Um, okay, well, can you point me any country which is okay, which is completely religious and still peaceful? Um, Maybe there exist some Christian countries like uh, I mean, they're not peaceful though. I was about to quote some South American countries, but turns out they are like one of the most violent countries, right? Mafias and like the underground mafia stuff, that's all going on in South America, right? And some of you might bring me some you know exceptions like Caribbean islands, or those do not apply because we need a solid evidence where religion doesn't interfere with peace of the country, right? And so even if your country chooses to be completely religious, it will stop its innovation, right? Because if you're completely religious, let's take any book in general, they the the people who are completely orthodox, they will disencourage, they'll discourage innovation if it challenges the religious beliefs. The classic example is Galilei, who was burnt because he said, Earth revolves around sun and not the other way around. Um, so being completely religious also ruins everything in general. And you might say, well, that's why we are saying religion is like the primary reason for all the violence. But the truth is, humans would fight, no matter what. Religion is just their way of, you know, religion is just the name of the reason. The humans will continue to fight no matter what, uh, right? I mean, communist countries are fighting, right? It's not based on religion, right? Because as long as there are differences between people, like tall, short, dark, light, discrimination is bound to exist because will have advantage over another. right? A tall guy is bound to have an advantage in dating market, and therefore, there are some chances that some tall men might, take advantage of it and discriminate the short guys. Dark people have, I don't know, any advantage, uh, but like light-skinned people might, discriminate against dark people because people wouldn't choose dark-skinned guys over light-skinned guys. It's classic, right? As long as there is a difference, there will be discrimination, and therefore there will be fights. So you cannot avoid fights. And you might say, well, there are some democratic countries where religious freedom exists. Yes, we're coming to that. So, what's the solution to it? Do we eradicate religion completely? No. Okay. Do we follow religion completely? Any religion, for that matter, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, any religion, should we go through it completely? My answer would be we should focus on making the society a high trust society. For example, take the Nordic countries or any West European countries. Not all of them, but a little like Switzerland. I'm pretty sure Switzerland is not Nordic country. Uh, yes, it is not a Nordic country, but still it's pretty peaceful, and it's also famous for taking a neutral stance in World Wars, World War One, World War Two, and even in future, if World War Three does come, I'm assuming it will come in my lifetime. Um, you know, Switzerland is going to take a neutral stance, right? And so, so what did it do? Is Switzerland a non-religious country? No. Is Switzerland a completely orthodox religious country? No. It's moderate. But what's the difference between other surrounding countries and Switzerland or any Nordic countries is they have a high trust society, right? They have high trust society, and you know we cannot really define what really like intrinsically what a high trust society is. But in general, the quality of life is higher, even if you are a country with lower per capita income and lower GDP in general. Your quality of life is going to increase because every person is rightly informed, right? You take America, half of the society is over-informed and half of the society is under-informed. You take India, most of them are under-informed. Um, so this shouldn't happen, right? The population of a country should be rightly informed about things, and also transparency should exist just between not just between the government and the people, but even between people itself. And when high trust societies actually come into place, then even if you're completely religious, you're gonna understand the other people's perspective, and therefore you earn trust of others and they also earn your trust, and that's how you become a high trust society. And obviously these European countries have high GDP per capita. I'm not denying that, but how come there are many Southeast Asian countries which might not have high GDP per capita, but they are pretty happy, right? Pretty happy, and I'm assuming, oh yeah, they. I am pretty sure they're not high trust society. I think crime exists, mafias exist, but yeah, like high trust societies are the solution. And how do we create a high trust society? I said you need to rightly inform everyone. Yeah, so this rightly informing everyone, and it might sound a little colonialistic, or it might sound a little bad, but we literally need to civilize the population. And how do you civilize the population? Well, that's the civilizational question. How can you make people peaceful, right? I think Vedas or Hinduism kind of gave an answer to that by introducing something called karma, that everything you do is going to have an after effect. But if you look at the country state nowadays, right, India is nowhere near a high trust society. Uh, I think uh, higher society is created in the school itself. If every child is listened to, like you listen to every child, and every child is also molded into a good personality, they're bound to be a peaceful, citizens in the future, and therefore we have a peaceful society. Uh, I think that's the concept of Gurukul in Hinduism, and in general, I think every religion has some kind of schooling techniques, right? I mean, we have many Christian schools in India where still it's not up to mark. Not the Christian or the Hindu or anything. It's not up to mark. I think the only solution would be residential schools where people are disciplined, like cutthroat, and no, or maybe homeschool, right? Where the child is under pure observation and is controlled and is informed, and you create a higher society. And also, uh, if someone is resourceful, they're bound to not destroy things, and therefore they're not going to discriminate, and they'll make informed decisions. Uh, Obviously, this is like a really big debate that can go through, because some might argue that there are some religious practices which will make you peaceful, like there are some sadhanas in Hinduism, or some teachings of Buddhism, where you will become peaceful. Like a Buddhist monk is bound to be a peaceful guy, right? Um, it's not like you should be peaceful every time. You should be someone who will act accordingly. You know, not react but respond to things in the right way. And I think I understood 50% of how to make a high trust society. I don't know. Maybe I should talk to some West European guys or some Nordic country people. Um, because if you look at it, Brit- British is the country which colonized most of the world, right? At least in the last 200 years. But the high trust societies, they came from Nordics or some West European countries. I have no idea like what caused it, because people are usually peaceful when there is enough food and enough housing. Um, but I'm not. I don't think it's a really good. Uh, they have a fertile land compared to India or any other equatorial regions, right? I have no idea why they're peaceful. But like I said, I'm still learning in my life, and yeah, I think a high trust society is the way to go. You can be religious, and if you live in a high trust society, you're bound to become a resourceful person, and therefore your religion wouldn't matter, and your opinions also don't matter. Um, I mean, innovation does come from a peaceful point of view, where pre-existing beliefs, they do not stop you from innovating, which means religion shouldn't intervene with technological advancement, which is why we do need higher society, especially when we have really big population like 8 billion and still growing. And in future, if if Mars does get colonized and Moon does get colonized and we become a multi-planetary species, uh, we definitely need that, and we definitely need to know how to civilize a society. Like, how come same species, the humans, behave differently when they're born in different places? It's not just about mannerisms, but just crime rate is like clearly visible, clearly visible. Um, you need to think about it. I'm still learning, but yeah, in my opinion, it's creating a higher society. How do you make it? You make it by raising really rightly informed kids, and therefore they become rightly informed citizens. There might be additions to it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, I'm always open to new opinions. Thank you.